Mr. Buddy, are you ready to go back and get a crunchy bowl? Are you going to be a good boy? Mommy's going to make a video. We're going to talk about peppers with everybody. Are you going to be good? Are you going to be a good boy? Okay, everybody, be quiet now. We're going to talk about peppers. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to tell you about what peppers I'm starting. Tomorrow I'm going to christen the new greenhouse and I'm going to go out and start my own potting soil, and the first things that I'll be planting this year will be peppers and eggplant. So there are so many options to go over. I wanted to get right to the point so I can tell you which ones are my favorites. The giant Marconi, this picture here is very true of the character. It is a wonderful elongated pepper that is disease resistant. It germinates well. It really just produces. It wants to show up every single time in the garden. It does mature to a beautiful red pepper. It has a thin wall. It is good for so many things. You can saute it, roast it. You can eat it raw. We love having it raw with cucumbers, tomatoes, a little red onion, a little vinegar and oil and salt and pepper. It makes a wonderful, bright summertime salad pepper. So this is something that we will have every single year in our garden. Now this is the first time from MI Gardener that I was actually able to find it available in seed. Normally I buy it as a Bonnie's plant. And last year I couldn't find it. So I didn't think I was going to have the giant Marconi pepper in my garden, and I was very upset. For years we've been growing this. So I found it at a garden stand over Memorial Day weekend, and it was a very pathetic looking plant, but I bought it anyway. We got it into the ground. It did produce some peppers, not as many as normal, but I went ahead and I harvested the seeds from the peppers that I did get, and that was prior to finding this on MI Gardener. So I made sure that I created an envelope and marked it clearly that it was giant Marconi's, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to have pepper seeds. So from now on, my new motto is I'm not waiting for anything to come to Lowe's, Home Depot. I'm not going to rely on whatever it is that Bonnie's has to deliver. I'm going to do my very best to grow everything from seed. And things like peppers, you can save the seeds and you can share them with other people. So you can help first-time gardeners. When you stash your seeds, this is something that is so easy to share, and it can encourage someone to start growing things. And it costs nothing to share some pepper seeds. And when one pepper will give you what's equivalent to multiple packages of plants. So make sure if you're growing Marconi pepper or any bell pepper that you save the seeds, let them dry out on the counter, mark them in an envelope what they are clearly, and save them for the next year. Remember to share a few and help encourage and motivate some new future gardeners. Another favorite in the garden that I found from Botanical Interest is the Jimmy Nardellos. They do grow to a red pepper. It is a long, thin Italian pepper used mostly for roasting. It is incredibly delicious. You will want to wait until it's red for its best flavor before you harvest it. They show up in about 90 days in the garden. They like the typical growing patterns of holding hands in the garden. They didn't suffer from any scorch. They didn't suffer from any diseases. And I really love these peppers, and I will absolutely grow them again. But I think my most favorite cooking pepper that I grow, besides the giant Marconi, is the Cubanea or Cubanelle. This is a gorgeous pepper that grows prolifically. And again, it shows up in about 85 to 95 days. It will stay truly this green color here for quite a while. And then when it's really and truly ready to be harvested, it starts to change into beautiful colors of red striation, a beautiful vibrant orange color. It's a thin wall.
It sautés, it fries, it roasts. Again, you can have this one raw, absolutely bright and delicious. I recommend this one over and over again. But the heart of my heart in the garden with the peppers is the shishito pepper. This is a mild hot pepper, and you will get different levels of heat with this type of a hot pepper. It's a mild hot pepper, and you can take the seeds out of it and you have almost no heat at all. It does turn red during its ripeness, but you can eat it while it's green or red. It grows prolifically. I usually grow 4 of these, but I love them so much I'm growing 8 of them. And it grows so prolifically that you can eat this every day. And this is a shining star in your daily summer diet because they pan blister up just beautifully. And they cook quick with a little bit of olive oil and sea salt. And the flavor, if you love peppers, it is so incredible, it melts in your mouth. So while I harvest so many of them every single day, I always worry that I'm going to eat them all. So we, want to grow extra so that we can make sure that we have them in the freezer like I do now. I have bags and bags of them. And they defrost so nicely. You throw them right into the saute pan, you blister them up. They're smoky and wonderful, and like I said, you can regulate how much heat you really want from these. So this is a pepper that has just a perfect amount of capsaicin. It's delicious, and it's a good starter plant if you want to try a hot pepper that's not too hot. And a pepper that absolutely complements this is the jalapeno pepper. And while this is not a hot pepper, it takes all the delicious flavor of the traditional jalapeno minus the heat. You can use this in guacamole. You can use it in any recipe that you can imagine where you want a high flavor pepper. But it really, again, it becomes a shining star when you add it to the same saute pan with the shishito pepper. It cooks up easy. They, when fully mature with a smoky flavor, they do cork. So they'll get nice and fat and they get this beautiful corking to them, and their flavor is at their absolute best when they are mature to that point. They freeze gorgeous. I do take the seeds out of these. I don't really see any point in keeping the seed because I'm not looking for any heat. So you'll know that when you eat hot peppers, the heat comes from the seed. So with any hot pepper, you want to make sure that you are, being careful to protect your skin. So capsaicin burns do hurt. So the thing that I like about the jalapeno is I can, when you take the seeds out of most peppers, you can regulate the heat. But because jalapenos can get so hot, I don't really want to mess with all those hot seeds. So I just went ahead and started growing the jalapeno, and it was one of the best things that I ever did. So this is another year where I'll be growing 8 of these guys, keeping bags of them in the freezers, and we will be eating them every single day. Another pepper that I grow that didn't do so well last year was this beautiful lilac bell pepper. It is really a beautiful pepper. It does turn green when you cook it. But it just doesn't show up for the size that I thought it was going to be. They grow more like a little miniature pepper. They didn't really suffer from too much disease. They really didn't give me any problems at all that I can complain about with them growing in the garden. They do germinate easily, and they look really pretty. I like eating things with these types of colors because they pack an antioxidant punch. So these types of things I think are good to add. And that was the real reason why I started growing it. But because it didn't really do too well in size, I don't know if it's worth taking up the space that it does. I'd rather try to grow something that I know I can have an abundance of. But because I still have seeds in here, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to go ahead and try this again this year, but I'll probably do it in a different part of the garden and maybe give it a little bit of extra food to see if I can get it to grow to a bigger size so we can enjoy this one. The free pepper that I got from Baker Creek, we all got daytail pepper. So I am going to go ahead and grow this. Now I've explained over and over, for some strange reason, I don't know if my backyard invented the Scoville scale, but it thinks that everything wants to be like the hottest level of that you can grow on the Scoville scale. Anything that's hot is a torch. It's a blowtorch in our backyard. My jalapeno peppers were, for me, I couldn't even consume them. I couldn't even consume the serrano peppers. And I like hot peppers, but everyone that we shared them with said that they were extraordinarily hot. This pepper here has been said to take on the same level of heat as a habanero. I'm not going to find out though. I'm going to let Farmer John eat these peppers. But I will go ahead and grow them. So they are the peppers that I have packs for. I have numerous envelopes full of seeds. It doesn't make any sense for me to show you just plain white envelopes full of seeds, but I'm telling you I have enough seeds in these envelopes that I could probably get 10 more gardeners started with growing peppers. I have California Golden Wonder, which I highly recommend if you can find that pepper. It turns a beautiful golden yellow pepper while it's ripening on the vine. I've noticed that some bell peppers, you really do need to take them off and let them start to ripen on the counter before they'll start to turn color. For me, the California Golden Wonder was a godsend. I did read reviews on it. I was going to buy seeds last year, but the reviews were that it didn't produce well, it suffered from disease. I kept saying, I don't get it. I don't understand why people are complaining. Maybe I won't grow California Golden Wonder this year. Well, last year I found it at the farm stand. I grew it again, and once again, it showed up for me. So I have bags and bags of California Golden Wonder in their true yellow ripened state. I'm so happy that I harvested seeds from them last year and saved them. Because I'm going to probably grow California Golden Wonder every single year. If you're looking for some big bell peppers that are good for stuffing with a medium thick wall, I would highly recommend the Keystone Resistant Pepper. It is probably a pepper that grows to be about 7 inches long. Again, the California Golden Wonder, its skin is, it has a thicker wall and a thicker, more crunchy skin than the Keystone Resistant. But the Keystone Resistant gave me 0 problems. Last year was the first year I grew it. I didn't get any scorch. It didn't have any insect pressure. It grew prolifically, and it striated into a beautiful red color. And then when it became completely mature, it was a very deep, bright red. It was just gorgeous, and I was blown away. Again, I was able to harvest an abundance of seeds from them. And I will harvest seed now, I think, every single year from peppers. And the one thing that I hope, though, is that I'm reading that peppers cross-pollinate very, very easily. So I think the worst thing that could possibly happen is maybe I'll get a Keystone Resistant that turns yellow, or maybe I'll get a California Golden Wonder that turns red or orange. I'm not really sure what could possibly happen, but I plan to find out. So as I grow any pepper that I grew, that I harvested the seed from last year, I'm going to make sure I make notes on their plant labels that they were seeds that I harvested. So this way I can monitor what happened. Another seed that I grew, a plant that I grew last year from farm stand was a Big Bertha. What a gorgeous pepper. She grows very, very large, striates to a beautiful orangey red color, has about the same wall density as the Keystone Resistant, so it's not very thick, but you can still stuff it or just slice it up and roast it and saute it. Either way, it has an incredible smoky flavor. The only problem I have with Big Bertha is she does tend to suffer from a little bit of scorch more easily than some of the other peppers do. But I will continue growing them every year. They're delicious in the garden, and because they freeze so well, it doesn't make any sense to not grow them. I mean, I have bags of peppers and tomatoes in the freezer, so at any point, if I feel like I need to make a hot meal, or if I want to use them in a recipe, I just go into my bag full of pepper varieties, and I'll mix everything into the same exact freezer bag. I have the giant Marconi, the Cubanea, California Golden Wonder, Big Bertha, and Keystone Resistant all in one big bag. So when I take them out to defrost them and add to the recipe, I have a variety of colors and textures. So that's how I handle my peppers. Now, eggplant, one of the most beautiful eggplants I grew is the Rosita eggplant from Baker Creek. This eggplant showed up for me when no one else did in last year's crazy heat. I'll tell you, this pepper, we separated it. I had one extra eggplant, I'm sorry, and I put it in a part of the garden that I don't normally grow eggplant. It was all alone, it was one single plant, and I'm so happy that I caged it the way I did, because with it having more space than ever last year, it grew bigger than ever, the fruits were bigger than ever, it was happy, and it made me realize something. This eggplant needs space to grow. It liked a lot of air movement, and it liked a sunny location. Now, this, as well as the other eggplants that I'm about to show you, they are suffering from some kind of a pest that we can't see, which I think might be a flea beetle. It's getting onto the leaves and eating up all of the leaves and creating a lacy texture of them, but it doesn't harm the flower. And it doesn't damage the fruit. It just goes after the leaves. But it's still it produced a tremendous amount of flowers. All of the pollinators loved it. And these grew to a beautiful disease-resistant fruit. And they would show up every day. I would go out and there would be more eggplant. So what I like to do with these was either slice them up or simply slice them in half. I like to crosshatch, slice the inside flesh of the fruit, sprinkle it with a little bit of salt, and let it sweat. For those of you who don't know this process, this is called brining. And this will take the bitterness out of an eggplant before you cook it. So you will want to brine it for about 30 minutes or until it starts to sweat. And you will know that it's sweating. When it gets nice and moist, all you have to do, it'll soften it down real nice. It makes it easier to cook and takes away the bitter. I blot it off with a paper towel, and then I'll go ahead and re-season it and cook it in my recipe. This cooks up beautifully though. It's not greasy in any way, and it's a very tender eggplant. So I recommend the Rosita. If you're looking for another eggplant that has an interesting flavor, I recommend this Casper. Now this takes on an almost mushroomy flavor. John absolutely loves this one. It's not a very big fruit, and it does tend to get little callousy blemishes on the outside of the flesh, but it's not something that goes through to the inside of the fruit. When they finally start to show up in August, they do grow prolifically. It suffered from the same issues and leaf problems as the other one, but the flavor is completely different. And if you're looking for a nice flavorful eggplant, I would go with the Casper, keeping in mind that it does have a very woody and earthy, mushroomy flavor. But this was a good one to grow. Now, the Nagasaki Long is very similar to an, you may say, Ikiban or Ichiban eggplant. It's an elongated, sometimes misshapen fruit it does okay. It did produce. Again, it likes the heat, it likes its space, they all need caging. They do tend to suffer from some pest pressure. The Japanese beetles got in here with these guys and they really, really love them, as well as the squash bugs do tend to hang around them, but they don't lay any eggs in them. And the stink bugs like them. But they tend to want to grow prolifically, and these are great for, again, just slicing up, and you can throw them in with stir fry. And a lot of people like to take these and put them on the grill, leaving the entire skin on, and you just put it on the grill and you turn it, and the skin just kind of gets charred, and you just have to like peel it off, and then you're just left with an eggplant where you can just have it on the side with your grilled food. So they're the only 3 eggplants that I'm growing this year. And I think that next year I'll keep the Casper and the Rosita, but I'll probably incorporate a few other new varieties. So right now, they are the only plants that I will be starting tomorrow that will need to be germinated right away as far as peppers and eggplants, as if I need any more. Something that I did want to mention here because it's been heavy on my heart. I almost didn't make this video today because I'm very, very saddened by the news that's happening in the world with the horrific events of natural disaster that are affecting Turkey and Syria. I have to tell you, as content creators, we can see where our viewers are watching us, and we do know that we have viewers in that area who have watched and followed our channel. So while I don't really have the words to say how hurt I am for everyone that is suffering right now, it's really very difficult for me to sit and make a video about my beautiful garden and all the wonderful things that we are growing, where people are fighting for their lives right now. So I don't take this lightly. And I had to make this video 4 times today because I just couldn't not mention what's happening there. And I just couldn't find the words to say everything that I wanted to say. So please know that you're in our thoughts and our prayers, and for each seed that I plant in my greenhouse tomorrow, I will be planting hopes and prayers for the recovery of everyone who is suffering right now from natural disaster and war. So thank you for stopping in to see us today. I sure hope that I'll see you in the next video. And please know that we are grateful to each and every one of you who are subscribing to our channel and following along with us. Thank you for your encouragement and motivation, and we sure do appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. I hope to see you in the next video.